The studio smells so good right now. I've been spraying fig fragrances and it smells phenomenal. I love this note. Mediterranean born guy, grew up eating figs. As a kid I used to play around the trees, get on the trees, jump off of them, and that smell has left a major impression, and I absolutely love the smell of figs. So today I'm going to talk about 10 of my most recent favorite fig fragrances. I did the last video 2 years ago. I thought let's update it with the top 10 or more, just the 10 favorites that I'm going to suggest to you. I'm not ranking these fragrances, but just offering you my 10 of my latest and greatest fig fragrances. There might be a few that were featured in my top 20 from 2 years ago, but there are new ones here. So if you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian with Smelling Great Fragrance Reviews. That's right, today we're talking about fig fragrances. Figs are fruits that are usually, available in the summertime, but more later in the summertime here in California. From my experience, I don't remember when I lived in the Middle East when the fig fruits were available, but I think typically they get ripened by the end of summer, so they're really nice and delicious to eat. Especially, putting them in salads, and I really love the dried figs and fig jam and all that kind of stuff. So I love this fruit, but it's not about the fruit only. We also have the leaves and the tree itself as a smell in these fragrances. But before we discuss the 10 fragrances, if this is your first time tuning in and you still haven't subscribed to my channel, there is a subscribe button below. Please do click that subscribe button and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Anyway, let's talk about fig fragrances. As I said, if you're curious to watch the top 20 from 2 years ago, I have it in the info box. Click that and you can go there and watch the video. But let's start right away. And as I said, I'm not ranking these. I'm going to tell you my favorite current 10 favorite fig fragrances. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is a brand called CHABAUD, CHABAUD. It's a French house, and they have a fig fragrance called Fleur de Figuier, this one right here. And I love this one because it reminds me of a fig fragrance that I used to love from the house of Jo Malone called Figue and Cassis. It's no longer available. So this one reminds me of that fragrance. I mean, I still have my discontinued bottle here. It's halfway full, but this one is available and it is sold. So you should look that up if you are a fan of the Figue and Cassis from Jo Malone. It's not identical, but it hints at it a lot. So this is Fleur de Figuier. It has fig leaves, larch. It's a conifer plant. There's cedar, lavender, and sandalwood. But it's really, really gorgeous. What I get with this one is lots of greenery, the leaves, but little hints of the fruits as well. So it's not all green and woody. It's got some sweetness to it, but it's really, really lovely. And it reminds me of that, discontinued fragrance that I loved. I probably wore 3 bottles of the Figue and Cassis from Jo Malone. I was going through a Jo Malone phase in the 2000s, and I was obsessed with that smell, but it got discontinued in the earlier 2010s. Probably more like mid-2010s, but this one's definitely a great replacement. So this is CHABAUD Fleur de Figuier, definitely one for you to check out. So this next one is from the house of Profumum Roma, and this is Ichnusa. ICHNUSA. So fig leaves, fig tree. This one also has myrtle. You can totally smell the myrtle. It's an interesting combination of myrtle and figs together, grass and hay. So this one's not necessarily so fruity. It doesn't come off very fruity, but it does have some sweetness from that myrtle, the myrtle note, because it doesn't mention fig fruits, and when you smell it, you're not smelling it. It's more on the astringent green side, bitter green side, and very, very leafy and earthy and woody kind of an experience. So it's definitely not fruity. If you're used to the fruitier fig fragrances, this one might be a little annoying to you. Not necessarily annoying, but not like your taste. But if you love green and woody fragrances, you probably really love Ichnusa. So this is Ichnusa from the house of Profumum Roma. A great, great fig fragrance. This next one is from the house of Javoy. This is L'Arbre de la Connaissance. This one right here, a very tough one to say. But this one, I feel like it's got similarities to the Profumum Roma fig, but this one also has fruit. So not only do you have that bitter greenness from all the greenery around the fig tree, the leaves, and the tree itself, but throw in some fruitiness from the fruit and you have the fragrance. But this one, according to the notes, there's fig fruit, fig tree, there's green notes in addition to those notes. Citruses, there is a citrusy kind of a smell in there. Some citruses, I'm assuming it's like bergamot, maybe some light lemon touches. There's sandalwood and patchouli as well. Now, if you're used to fragrances like psychedelic, private label, incident diplomatique from Jovoy, this one might not compare to that because it's so different because of that green figgy kind of leafy earthy smell. But if you like those kind of notes, green woody earthy figgy, then definitely try L'Arbre de la Connaissance from Jovoy. It's a quite awesome release, and as I said, it does kind of have similarities to Ichnusa from Profumum Roma, but with the Jovoy you have the added fruity touch as well. Alright, so this next one is from the house of Carner, Barcelona, and this is Fig Man, this one right here. I have a full review of this one. You should go check it out if you are curious about it. Fig Man is a fruity fig, also a green fig with the fig tree and the fig fruit. But what happens with this one is they've added marine notes. So you've got an aquatic experience, and almost like, you know, when you go to the Mediterranean, you're at the coastal cities, lots of fig trees grow. I mean, I was used to it when I lived in the Middle East. And I visited a lot of southern Mediterranean coastal cities in Europe, and you can totally see the fig trees there. So the fusion of the fig tree, the fruit, and also the coast, the marine smell, the combination is quite phenomenal. Then that's what this one's all about. But in addition to the fig fruit, fig tree, marine notes, there are some additional notes in here. There's some bergamot, there's a citrusy touch, there are a violet note in here. So there's a kind of a slightly ozonic, aquatic type quality to it. There's cardamom, tonka, and patchouli. A great combination of notes. This one's different for me. I'm not the biggest fan of aquatics, but I do appreciate this one. So it's a unique take on the fig. You're actually kind of branching out into a different direction with the fig and the fig fruit. So if you like that idea, definitely check out Fig Man, because I think it's definitely a winner. This next one's from the house of Parfums de Nicolai, and this is Fig Tea. I don't know if you guys know this one, or if you know this house. I've spoken about them here and there. Fig Tea is a fruity take on the fig, but they're using, not the fig fruit, they're using osmanthus, and osmanthus typically goes into to me it smells like tea and stone fruit, dry stone fruit, like apricots and peaches and nectarines and things like that. So in here you're smelling the fig tree smell, but you've got the fruitiness from those stone fruity kind of qualities. There's a little bit of a tea-like quality as well. Hey, it's called Fig Tea. And then there's some mate, more tea, like the mate tea in here, so it's got a greenish vibe. Throw in some artemisia, coriander, jasmine, and amber. It's really, really beautiful fragrance to wear. Very fruity though, so if you like fruity fragrances, definitely try this one. I like the combination. It's different. You're not smelling the fig fruit, as I said. You're smelling those stone fruity kind of like accords created from the osmanthus note in here. Fig Tea from Parfums de Nicolai, definitely a winner. This next one is an obsession as of late, and I bought it last year, and I always felt it was a little underwhelming, but then it's grown on me and I absolutely love it. This is Balade Sauvage from the house of Dior. This is from their Privé collection. Now this one to me hints at a little bit of Dior Dune pour Homme. It's another fig fragrance that came out in the mid-90s, but this one goes into a little different direction, whereas Dune pour Homme was not so fruity. Well, I think it has the fruity notes in there, but it didn't come off very fruity. It had a figgy, kind of a leafy, sandy, beachy kind of a smell rather than the fruits. But this one, to me, it has lots of fruits. The fig tree is here, the fruits are in here. There's some aldehydic notes, there's marine notes, but not so marine, more aldehydic, maybe slightly ozonic. There's solar notes in here as well. Peaches, labdanum, and pebbles, and I love it. And I absolutely love it. This one is not so strong. It's not a wimp, but it's also not very strong, so I overspray this one. And the dry down is phenomenal. I just love the dry down. But it's a unique take on figs again. I like that because I tend to kind of like always associate fig fragrances with Philosophus and Premier Figuier, and I almost forgot to mention that I'm not going to feature those fragrances because everybody talks about them, but I'm telling you now, I'm not talking about those fragrances today because it's been done over and over again. People always go to those two fragrances when they talk about fig fragrances, and I mean, I even have a comparison video of Premier Figuier with Diptyque's Philosophus, Premier Figuier's L'Artisan. So that's why I've left that one off completely. But today I brought it up because if you know those two fragrances, then you know it's everything kind of starts smelling the same. That's why these are a little different, a little more unique, and this is really, really unique for a smell because it has the unique and weird notes, and I like that about it, and I love the dry down. So if you don't know Balade Sauvage, definitely check it out, especially if you are a fan of figs. Now this next one is from the house of Parfums DUSITA, and this is Le Pavillon Dior. So this one is another unique take on figs with oak as a note. The woody note is oak. There's fig leaf, so it does have this green figgy, leafy, the smell of the leaf kind of quality in here. But there's loads of Orris here, so it's powdery. There's aromatic thyme note. There's a little bit of a floral touch with honeysuckle in here. Boronia is also here, and then some more almondy touches of heliotrope powdery as well. And then some mint thrown in for a green aromatic experience. I find this one to be very, very unique for a fig smell. It's figs plus a lot of other things going on, but the combination is unique and different than what everything else I've talked to you about, because in the end it's focusing on the fig leaf and pretty dominantly, but everything else also comes around it and surrounds it and actually makes for a very, very unique experience. It's a great, great release. Green, woody, earthy, figgy, powdery, all combined. Parfums DUSITA Le Pavillon Dior. Check that one out. This next one is a brand new one for me, and I actually had smelled it in France late last year when I was there. I actually smelled it earlier in the year when I was there as well. This is from a house called Bastide, and I found these fragrances at the Printemps, the department store in the beauty standalone store in Paris, and I was obsessed with it. It's a Bastide Figue Amour, and this one, not very pricey. I think this was about $130 here in the States. I got a 25% discount when they had their 25% off, so I had to snatch it up. But fig fruit, bergamot, sandalwood, coriander, musk, pink pepper, woody notes. For me, this one does remind me a little bit of that Diptyque Philosophus and Premier Figuier, because it has a lot of greenness to it, but there's some light fruity touches in here. Now in the notes they don't mention the leaves or the tree, but it's in there. And I'm also getting a little bit of the milk, the fig milk in here also. There's a little bit of a milky quality. That's why it kind of reminds me of Philosophus from Diptyque and also Premier Figuier. Did you guys know that those two fragrances, totally different houses, were created by the same perfumer 1 year apart? Go find out about those two fragrances with a video I've done with Dahlia. But this kind of reminds me of that, but it's also slightly fruity, whereas those two do not have that fruitiness. But a great, great release. A new house. If you guys don't know this house, definitely check it out. Bastide. And again, I think this was about 130 suggested retail. I bought it from Neiman Marcus, and I had that 25% off sale, I think early May or late April. Anyway, Bastide Figue Amour is another one for you to try. This next one is from the house of Molinard. It's Figue, F-I-G-U-E. Very, very popular in fragrance community, and I really love this one. It's fig fruit, lemons, green leaves, cedar, blackcurrant, musk, amberwood, floral notes, jasmine. I really love this one, and I'm going to spray some on so I can tell you a little bit more about it. It's been a while since I've worn it. It does have a very lemony touch. I'm you know, drying my hand right now, and I'm smelling lemons with figs. But green notes, yeah, this is really, really good, guys. This house is great. I love Molinard. I've got some videos about this house on the channel. Go check them out. But these fragrances, 75 ml bottles are $65 suggested retail. Great, great quality fragrances, niche fragrances under $100, and definitely worth it. If you like a slightly inexpensive fig fragrance, definitely try the fig from Molinard. 30 ml bottle for the Parfums de Nicolas is also under $100, by the way. All right, so the next fragrance we're going to talk about is the last fragrance, and it is Fico de Amalfi from the house of Acqua di Parma. So this is probably next to the Figue from Molinard, probably the most popular Figue fragrance in the fragrance community. And what is it about this fragrance? I think it's a nice balance of sweet fig fruit with the fig tree. There's some citruses in there of bergamot. There's some grapefruit in there, yuzu, lemons, cedar, jasmine, pink pepper. Very, very sparkly, beautiful, like it's Mediterranean in your, in a bottle. But that's basically what it reminds me of, because all the citruses are, typical of the Mediterranean. I mean, this is called Blue Mediterraneo. It's the collection from Acqua de Parma, and they focus on the Mediterranean. And it's good, given they're going to do a fig fragrance, and it smells really, really wonderful. Everything about it is great. And one of the best fig fragrances. I feel like it's not similar to when it first came out. I feel like it's not as dense, but it's still pretty good. Fico de Amalfi, wonderful fragrance from the house of Acqua di Parma. And those are my 10 favorite fig fragrances currently. What are your favorite fig fragrances, guys? And do you enjoy this note? Are you a fan of it, or do you not even know it? The fig is a fruit that's very interesting. It's not like a very popular fruit like apples or oranges or something like that, but it's definitely a very, very popular fruit in the Mediterranean. And like I said, at the end of summer, towards the end of summer when they ripen, is the best time to eat them. And put a little bit of blue cheese with them and mix them up with a salad, and I think it's a great, great tasting fruit. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the fig fragrances. Let me know if you know these fig fragrances. Are you a fan of them? And also let me know if you have a favorite. Of course, as I mentioned, I did not feature those two very, very popular fig fragrances because I've spoken about them way too much, but these are the fig fragrances I'm feeling these days. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.